Hey everybody, this is Marcel from EXO Travel, here to present you the latest updates on Siem Reap in a post-pandemic world. We had lots of requests for updates recently, and I decided it would be best to just get some pictures together and do a short webinar to update all of you alongside some visuals. I would like to thank you all very much for joining. All of you across the globe are incredibly busy and overloaded at the moment, so I appreciate that you have tuned in, and I will take only about 25 minutes of your time. A lot has been happening in Siem Reap, and there is no way to cover every aspect, every hotel, every product in 25 minutes. But this presentation is purely based on what I was impressed by during my latest visits a few weeks ago, and what I think is important for you and your guests to know at this very moment. This presentation is based on people to have some general pre-existing knowledge of Siem Reap and Cambodia. If you don't have this, don't worry, I got you covered. In the last slide, I have added a link to all of our webinars, which will give you all the knowledge needed to confidently promote Cambodia. Our guide map for today, we are covering the following topics. Again, I tried to keep it short and sweet. Diving right in, Angkor as never seen before. If you are ever wondering of when to come to Cambodia, the only answer is right now. Just imagine the busiest place you've ever been, completely quiet and peaceful. In the past years, Angkor Wat had on average 7,300 visitors per day. If you take into account seasonality, it would mean around 40,000 visitors per day during peak season. Whereas at the moment, the number of visitors is just around 200 people a day. Also take into account the enormous size of the Angkor complex. This basically means you have the whole place for yourself, which is just such an amazing experience. It's magical, really, just to see one of the wonders of the world with these little number of people. I walked here myself for days, just being in awe of the serenity. It's a truly immersive experience, spiritual even, if you would like to call it that. Just walking around the complex, you can do it with a guide, coloring a picture of how life was during these times and how the temples were built and the stories they tell. But Marcel, people ask me this often, haven't the customers all come back yet? Because the borders opened and Cambodia opened since November 2021 already. Not really. Because at the moment, the number of arrivals in Cambodia is still quite low. And while travelers are coming back, this is in no way anywhere near the amount of people as before. Even though Cambodia opened back in November already, at that time some of the destinations around us, they were still closed and it was difficult to get to. It is getting easier now. We need a few more international flights to come in, but it does mean that the people who got here really had an experience of a lifetime. And again, to see the complex, to see the temples with no people around is just such a special, privileged experience. Angkor, with this little amount of people, it never happened in our lifetime. And it will get busier as travel returns, surely, yes. But it will be many months, if not years, before we reach the same number of visitors again as that we saw in 2019. So again, if you or your guest ever even thought about seeing the temples, experiencing Angkor Wat, this is the perfect time to come and explore. Now moving on to the town of Siem Reap. And for that, we have a quick look at the town's map. So as you see, Siem Reap is nicely built along the riverside, and many of the major hotels, and they will be around here. The shopping areas, the streets, the coffee shops, cafes, And the government really took a very smart advantage of the pandemic by completely renovating, rebuilding the infrastructure of the whole town. Almost every road, alley, park, everything saw a major change. And to me personally, Siem Reap solidified its feel as a hip and trendy town. Perfect to spend some time for a walk around the riverside, through town, past the local shops, and there are tons of little coffee shops and restaurants, little bars, which makes it perfect for a day at leisure, just strolling around. On the left side of this picture, you can see Siem Reap before the renovations, on the right side, just after it. Especially around the riverside now, all the local people, they come together, they have tons of little walkways to go through, benches to sit on. Local people, they come out here to meet friends, to exercise, to just to get together, and gives it a real nice village vibe. Throughout town, they have these cycling ways, they have lots of super wide walkways everywhere, spaces for cars to park very clearly. So it all very organized, so to say, but also it gives it a very nice atmosphere. Again, just to ride around on a bicycle or to just walk around town. Both of these pictures actually are from this time, but I really wanted to emphasize that the government has done all these roads, they planted thousands and thousands of trees to add green to all of it. So even on the warm and hot days, you can just walk around quite shaded, and it's quite nice. You might be wondering, honestly, what is the main selling point for your guest on this? And it's hard to explain for me without experiencing Siem Reap yourself. But once you've seen Siem Reap as it was, and now you see it back the way it is, it's a real different feel to a town. And whereas before it was often just seen as the town you stay to visit the temples, it is now putting itself on the map as a nice, warm, friendly town to visit and actually just spend some time really. So many of the travelers that visit Siem Reap are on the road already for multiple days, and now it just offers the opportunity to really unwind, add an extra day at leisure, and really absorb the local Cambodian lifestyle. Alongside with that, I've picked a few hotels that I've visited recently, and I think will tie in exactly with the vibrant changes in Siem Reap. This in no way covers all hotels. There are many more that have reopened doors, but I'd like to present you just a few of my personal picks that I think they really stood out. One of them is the Raffles. The Raffles reopened right before the pandemic in 2019, then had to close down again during the pandemic. And during the pandemic, they did lots of little touch-ups and refurbishments, and now they have reopened the doors again. And the property itself just looks amazing. And they just celebrated their 90th anniversary. So 90 years of history in this hotel, which is just amazing. So they have an in-house historian, which can tell you all about the stories from the past, what happened, what did they do. And also they have some in-house activities developed recently, which makes it just a product in itself really to stay here and experience. Phum Baitang is another favorite of ours. It's a little bit further outside of town, but it really gives you this resort feel. If your customers want a bit more privacy, they want to stay a little bit more away from the people and have this private feeling, they can come here. They all have different bungalows, either with a private pool or not with a private pool. But the main pool at the restaurant, it's huge. So they have their own little rice paddies, lots of green around. And if you want to relax for a couple of days, this is just the perfect place to do it. Shinta Angkor I mentioned they're 3, 4, and 5-star because they have 3 properties in town, and recently they have merged the 3 together. So now the full name is Shinta Angkor and Bensley Collection Pool Villas. It's a little bit long, so the pictures you see here are the Bensley Collection Pool Villas. So it's 10 private villas made by the famous designer Bill Bensley, right in the heart of town. Very cool place to stay. The 4-star version of this is here. That's the Shinta Angkor wing. So they have the pool here, they have a bunch of rooms. It's all very, very nicely designed, and because it's just so close to the riverside, it makes it a perfect place for people and families that want to explore town. Maison Polanka, it's a very special product. I would say it's nearly a luxury homestay. It's only a few bungalows, a few houses they have on the property, but it's a private piece of land with no clear commercial signs when you enter, so it's really like entering someone's home. Also, just right in the city center of town, so it's this perfect little sneaky getaway, if you want to call it that. But for families, they have perfect options of connecting rooms and private houses and bungalows with separate rooms for the children. They have this really nice pool, beautiful gardens, and lovely little restaurant. So Treeline Urban, I think this is a really cool property. They do a lot regarding to sustainability. So it's a bit hard to see on the pictures here. They do a lot of work with local artists. They allow local artists to feature their work, their arts and crafts inside the hotel. They do different galleries and presentations every now and then. But also they make a lot of efforts in training people, educating people that come from humble backgrounds, basically, to really try and help them gain more opportunities in their professional career. The location also here is right on the riverside. So I think, honestly, this hotel, with the amenities it offers, the service it offers, for me, it felt like a 5-star experience. And it's just a really cool place to stay. So Lynnaya Riverside, this is actually the cheapest option we have on the list today. It's a 3-star. But while I walked in here, I was just really attracted by all the green they have in the hotel. I always like it when there is a lot of a nature feel to it, even though, again, this hotel is right on the riverside. But when you walk around, they have this lovely pool with trees around. When you can enter the room here, you have bananas growing over your head. The rooms are simple, clean, very well made. I just think for people with less of a budget, this is a very nice place to stay. I have here a list of other hotels. As I said, we cannot cover every hotel, and I'm not saying one hotel is better than the other. There are loads of real good hotels at the moment that are open in Siem Reap. And many of the hotels we have inspected, they're open, they're doing very well. And these are just some of our partners that I have recently been to myself, and that I can say they're open, they're ready to receive guests, and they're looking forward to see our customers, really. To add some activities, and again to say, there's no way to cover all the activities at Siem Reap, and everyone knows the standard itineraries that we offer. We do the sightseeing, we do the famous popular places to visit. But again, I've just tried to find a few activities that I have done myself in recent weeks, but also activities that I think really tie in well with, again, the overall vibe of this presentation and the overall vibe that I think suits well with Siem Reap as a town. In the coming year, there will be a lot more updates on this to follow, as the industry is restarting again, which is super exciting, and new experiences are being crafted every day. So I'm really looking forward to the coming year product-wise because there are so many new things to do. People are waking up, they're restarting businesses, they're trying to make new businesses. So there are a lot of exciting changes to come product-wise. But the first thing you can do, I had to add it, the first thing you can do in Siem Reap is just relax. As I said, with the changes that Siem Reap has been going through, it is just the perfect town to take half a day, to take a full day at either of the nice hotels where they have the relaxing pools, walk around town to see local life, and just grab a coffee, grab a drink. And that really makes it a really cool town to stay. If you do want to get active, we have just the right ways to do so. So I think many of you know that we have our own EXO Adventure department, and they are the experts in organizing bicycle rides. So they set up everything themselves, they have their own fleet of bicycles, and of course we can uncover all the magic of Angkor Wat by bicycle. But if you've seen Angkor Wat already, we can just ride the other way, go through nature, past local villages, and explore the local lifestyle and culture. A bit more on the relaxing side, you can just hop into a gondola, enjoy a nice romantic boat ride on the moat of Angkor Wat. So you're really just paddling along the famous Angkor walls, close up to the Victory Gate, where you have some beautiful backdrop and scenery, and we always bring some delicious snacks and refreshments on the boat rides. If you want to do something different, we can totally recommend Team's Art Gallery. And rather than just being a gallery, it's a full-on experience about Mr. Team's life work, covering all kinds of arts and crafts while you explore his garden, really. He still lives there. It's still very much a work in progress. He is an active artist who really keeps doing what he loves to do, and you can just enter and walk through his creative world. When I was talking with the team there, when we were walking around there ourselves, some guests can take up to 30 minutes to have a walk through it. Other guests, they can take easily up to 4 or 5 hours just to stand by and admire all the different aspects that are covered here. Centre d'Angkor is such a nice, hands-on, sustainable activity where you can learn all about local produce and their uses. It goes from herbs and spices used for cooking to oils, scents, hand soaps, and even detergents, as well as sustainable packaging to wrap everything up. I think this is a great educative program, perfect for families, people that want to learn about all the uses of the natural produce they have. And when you walk around here, it will take you roughly an hour and a half just to learn about everything. And it's a real cool activity just to pass by and include it in the day. So one of our personal favorites is our EXO Travel Angkor Thom scavenger hunt. So this is just perfect for families. It's a really cool Tomb Raider kind of explorative experience where you go on this treasure scavenger hunt together with the kids, and for families this is perfect. And again, especially now it's not so busy. Foodie tours, we have a wide variety of foodie tours. We can do it by car, by Vespa scooters, or by local tuk-tuks, and we can totally tailor the dishes to ensure they are enjoyable for any kind of food preferences or allergies. So we can do it for families with young children, all the way up to die-hard foodie passionates. Just as a last slide on this presentation, I've added the Fair Circus. Many of you will know the Fair Circus. The reason I still add it is at the beginning, and this is quite a few years ago when I was joining EXO Travel, but not that familiar with Cambodia and Fair Circus yet. And I always thought a circus looked a little bit odd in our itineraries. But that was actually until I just learned about Far and haven't visited myself in person. Once you know more about PHAR and the sustainable practices they do, the training, the education they all offer to the local communities, to the local kids, it is such a beautiful enterprise, and the shows are incredibly well made to learn about local culture, local practices, traditions. And it's just such an amazing experience to just go to a PHAR circus. So if ever you as our partner have seen PHAR circus in our itineraries and you are a little bit wondering what's it about, just ask us anytime. But please know that it's a beautiful show, it's a beautiful sustainable practice, and really worth to add into people's experiences while here in Cambodia. So that was actually all for today. As I said, it was a brief overview of what's been happening in this amazing town. If you'd like to see more of our content, please click on our YouTube channel for many more webinars and videos on our destinations, or visit our website for the latest product. If you want to know more on our sustainable efforts, have a look at our responsible travel page, and for any questions, comments or feedback, please don't hesitate to reach out anytime. If there is anything I would like you to take away from this presentation, it is that now is the perfect time to visit Angkor Wat, an experience like no other, and that Siem Reap as a town has much more to offer than just an overnight stay to see the temples. It's a vibrant, funky town, worthy of every minute spent and worthy of just adding some extra time here. Thank you.